How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another review for you guys, and for this one, we're gonna kind of do like a whole series of videos where we're talking about the Spider-Man films. And with this one, we're gonna talk about The Amazing Spider-Man, which was released in 2012, and looking at the IMDb, it was directed by Mark Webb, written by James Vanderbilt, hopefully I said that correctly, Alvin Sergeant, and many more, with starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Rhys Ifans, and Rhys Ifans, and many others. Now, I guess first off, how should I put this? Because this kind of went in a totally different direction compared to the first trilogy, where it seemed to be more campy in its approach when it comes to the story. This time around, it's a lot more serious, actually more grounded into reality, which I think is what a lot of people were saying when it came down to this particular version of Spider-Man. I guess to start the whole premise, we get to see, his parents for the first time, where they leave, they never come back. Peter Parker, or played by Andrew Garfield, is, to an extent living his life, but comes across an piece of property, which is a satchel that belonged to his father, and tries to uncover a little bit of history, or at least like what happened to his father. He comes across Dr. Kurt Connors, played by Rhys Ifans, and the story kind of bends to him becoming the Lizard, and we see how Andrew gets his powers, or Peter Parker, when he sneaks into Oscorp and unfortunately gets bitten by one of the spiders. Which again, it's interesting. It's an interesting take on how Peter gets his abilities. Emma Stone plays Gwen Stacy, and okay, I think we need to talk about this, because this is like talking about characters in story. Because I'm just going to say the dynamic between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy is awesome. And I'm just going to say it because I know some people, if they watch my reviews, at least for those who will, kind of, see it, and who are fans of Mary Jane, because I shit on her a ton of times in that series, I'm just going to say it. Gwen Stacy is the better female lead. In fact, if anything, when it comes down to this film, she does shit. She actually does shit productive in this film. Not only that, but her intelligence, to an extent, almost matches Peter Parker's. There's a couple of cool scenes where she's, actually doing stuff, which I thought was, again, a lot of fun. We had, just kind of going further into the casting, we had Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben, Sally Fields as Aunt May, which, by the way, Martin Sheen did a really good job playing Uncle Ben. We had Dennis Leary playing Captain Stacy, which I will say was really interesting. And I love, there's this one particular scene where Peter Parker is inside the Stacy household, and they're going back and forth on, I guess, the ethics of, Spider-Man existing, to an extent of, should he be following the law? Should he be, charged for his crimes of being a vigilante? I mean, we don't know. I mean, it really sets the tone of, like, or at least the precedence of what Andrew is doing, or why he's doing it. There's also another really interesting, especially when it comes to story, is the fact that when it comes to the moment when, Uncle Ben gets shot and the killer runs off, Peter never catches the killer. That's like the biggest thing is Peter never catches the killer of his father, or his, you know, to an extent his surrogate father. But all in all, it was really cool. The dynamic between Kurt Connors and Peter was interesting, especially when Peter kind of sees him as a friend, and then the betrayal of him becoming the lizard is a lot greater. And let's face it, you know, once Kurt Connors goes full lizard, he's not very empathetic and very cruel. Kind of like, again, I think he was more based off like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that shows. It really does. Some of the music used is really good. The main theme is really, really good. And as I said before, when it comes down to, because the CGI in the first three, it's not great. The CGI in this is done really well, and I think some of my favorite shots, or some of my favorite segments, has to be the segments where, as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, is going through the city, web swinging. It's as if, you know, we're actually the ones doing it, or we're the ones, you know, doing the web slinging, which, again, it looks really cool because it's in the first person. So, all in all, do I like this film? Because I think I've talked about pretty much a good extent of the characters, the story, the music, etc., and the CGI, because I shit on that a lot when it came to the first trilogy. Do I like this film? Yes, I do. And I will say that when it came down to it, the change, because Spider-Man, or at least the first movie, was around the time where studios did not know how to write for a comic book story. And again, it was more campy, kind of not taken that much seriously, especially when it came to some of the more serious moments. But all in all, this one is a little bit more grounded to reality, which I kind of enjoyed to an extent. So, The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, A+ material, at least for me. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy mostly, above all, the dynamic between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in this. This was amazing. So, if you guys have not, go check it out. You will enjoy it, and it is a lot of fun to watch. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow some social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.